Good afternoon, Dr. Johnson, members of the board, Superintendent Thurman. On February 20, 2014, the Georgia Board of Education granted an exemption of all statutory and regulatory class size maximums for the 2014-2015 school year. Due to the continued economic downturn that has caused declines in state and local revenue, the Georgia Board of Education recognized the need to give school districts more flexibility. Local school district will be required to submit a local board resolution to the Department of Education before the class size maximums may exceed those indicated in the State Board Rule 160-5-1-08. The board resolution must be approved at a local board meeting to ensure that all stakeholders are informed about the school district decision regarding class size. Additionally, flexibility is needed regarding fluctuations in enrollment that surface close to the FTE, which is full-time equivalent, count dates. Although this is a request for a class size waiver, the district has worked tirelessly to decrease class size. The current class size for the 2013-2014 school year versus 2014-2015 projections for class size average per grade level are as follows. In kindergarten, we currently are at 23, projected to go to 21. First through third, projected we're at 24, projected to stay at 24. These are due to enrollment increases in that grade level. Fourth through fifth grade, 27 to 26. 6 through 8, 30 to 27. 9 through 12, 34 to 33. The class size resolution reads as follows. Whereas the State Board of Education recognized that local education agencies continue to experience financial hardships resulting in financial demand, and whereas the State Board of Education has granted an exemption for all statutory and regulatory class size maximums for the 2014-2015 school year, when a local Board of Education submits an adopted signed resolution to the Georgia Department of Education, and whereas the DeKalb County Board of Education understands that the local Board of Education is responsible for meeting all federal and state accountability rules. And whereas the DeKalb County Board of Education understands that the local Board of Education is responsible for meeting all federal and state health and safety requirements. And whereas the DeKalb County Board of Education understands that the local Board of Education is responsible for all federal and state reporting requirements. And whereas the DeKalb County Board of Education understands that additional student enrollment numbers indicated in this resolution will be added to the class size indicated in the Georgia Board of Education Rule 160-5-1-08 class size, which had an effective date of August 29, 2007. Whereas the DeKalb County Board of Education understands that the increases reflected in this resolution represent no change over 2013-2014 class size maximums and allow for a 2-student buffer to ensure that we capture all potential FTE earnings. And now, therefore, be it resolved that effective for the 2014-2015 school year only, the DeKalb Board of Education authorizes the superintendent of schools to increase the class size maximums to exceed levels indicated in Rule 160-5-1-08 class size by 1 to 8 students in grades K through 12 in regular education, 1 to 6 students in English language learners, 1 to 8 students in gifted, 1 to 8 in early intervention programs, 1 to 8 students in remedial education programs, 1 to 6 in vocational programs, 1 to 6 students in alternative education programs, 1 to 4 students in students with disabilities group 1, 1 to 4 students with disabilities group 2, 1 to 4 students with disabilities group 3, 1 to 4 students in disabilities group 4, and 1 to 4 students with disabilities group 5. It is requested that the Board of Education approve this resolution regarding class size exemptions for the 2014-15 school year as required by the State of Georgia Board of Education.
Is there any discussion? Mr. Mayfield.
Yeah, just some, I guess, general questions about the whole relationship between class sizes and student performance, and recognizing that we, certainly from a financial point of view, need to take advantage of this waiver. But I guess I'd like to know, do we assess the instructional value or the academic performance value of the class size differences that we're proposing, and do we offer mitigation plans to deal with those differences in performance?
And from the school year of 2012 to 2013, I received your email, and we have lowered class size from those years, particularly, let's say in high school, where in 2012-13 it was 36. This year we increased it down to 34, and we're decreasing it down to 33. In that time, it seems that academic achievement is rising. What we will do, once I got your email, once we receive the academic achievement from this year, we want to look at it from a standpoint, we're lowering class size. As we're lowering those class size, we should see achievement rise, and so that's what we want to do, and we'll be able to have that for you in July 1 once we receive those that data.
No further questions. Mr. Coleman.
I have a quick question. I just can't make the math add up on the class size reductions, because I know we've got a net addition of about 100 new teachers. I know some of those I think are librarians, actually not.
No.
Classroom, or is it all classroom
All
teachers?
classroom
Net
teachers.
100. And so is that net 100 would what's getting you to the reductions in class size you talked before? Or are there other impacts as well, or are there other factors as well?
The 100 teachers, as well as better scheduling. We're better training our schedulers to do a better job of scheduling and balancing classes.
Mr. McMahon.
Thank you, Chairman. So we're talking about, and Mr. Coleman, when you said the 100 teachers, and then I think there's a collaboration with finance also. I mean, we got an $8 million estimate for 100 teachers. I mean, how many teachers do we affect? That's including benefits, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the total number. So just for the public's notice, we're not paying folks 80, that's the total package. But back to the financial side of thing. In my own analysis, and I'd like to see more data regarding this, but and this goes back to the instruction piece, where we're 5%, we're 78.6 on the allocation year to date, and versus at 83.3. 5% of a $365 million budget is a little bit over $18 million that we have not expended this year on our teachers' salaries. That's a big number. I don't know, and clarify it for that, but just taking 50,000 per teacher, is it 80,000? I don't know what the exact number averages, but based on that, it's maybe 3 teachers per school, to where adding additional teacher to a grade level, I think, would be able to reduce our class size. Most grades have 4 classes, maybe, right? So another teacher would bring us to 5 classes, or maybe a 20% reduction in class size. So if we're at 34 right now with a 20% reduction, that's 7 kids, then now we're at 27. So I just, from a board perspective, from my perspective, I'd like some clarity on our instructional expenditures, and just to see how much we're spending, how many teachers we got. If we're under budget, what's the rationale for being under budget? And, what do we... So just clarification. That's all I'm looking at, transparency and clarity. So that's I appreciate the hard work. But from a funding standpoint, I'd like to cross the T's and dot the I's on where our resources, allocation of resources are. Because I think every board member up here wants to push every penny we can into the classroom. So that's just comments. I didn't really have any questions.
No further discussion. Is there any opposition to placing this item on the consent agenda? Hearing none, this item will be placed on the consent agenda.